welcome back to the We Are City channel for our final series on historical rebuilds with, this time, a man you might know well, Roberto Mancini. We're going to be doing the 2011-2012 season of Manchester City, and we're going to build the full squad, not just the starting 11. We're going to build the full squad for this one. Of course, the season where we saw this iconic Sergio Aguero moment where he scored in the 93rd minute and 20 seconds to give City the league. Now, for goalkeeper, we've gone with, of course, Joe Hart, England's #1 at the time. And for our team, we wanted England's #1 as well. And we decided on Jordan Pickford, a similar sort of personality type, but also someone who I think is the right choice to come in and do the job at goalkeeper for us, being that he is England's #1, like Joe Hart was. He's got a bit of a mistake in him at times, like Joe Hart did. And I think like when we've gone to replicate all these players, some have been a bit difficult to find players very similar to, but we went with him. For right back, I went with Pablo Zabaleta, a smaller fullback, one who actually came from the Manchester City youth system, but we're going to imagine that he didn't come through the City youth system, that he came from the Spanish side, which he did in real life, Pablo Zabaleta. For a small fee, he's come in and built his way up into the first team, and Pablo Maffeo is the man we've decided on to come in at that right back role and play that Pablo Zabaleta role. He's nice and aggressive as well, which is nice to see. As for our Vincent Kompany, who better than the best centre-back in the Premier League, Virgil van Dijk. He's going to be our captain, and he's going to be our Vincent Kompany on our side. I think very much everything about him is very Vincent Kompany-like. The aura, the idea of him, the way he plays. I think maybe he's better on the ball than Kompany. Is he a better defender than Vincent Kompany? Who knows? He's got a better injury record than Vincent Kompany, despite that one long-term injury. But yeah, Virgil van Dijk being the Manchester City man, which he could have been. I mean, Pep Guardiola nearly signed him if it wasn't for a massive price tag. Left-hand side, Julian Lescott was a player who was an up-and-coming English centre-back who came through Everton, a left-footer, and City went and spent the big money on him. Gerard Branthwaite, very much a similar sort of story, really. We saw John Stones replicate that sort of Julian Lescott story, and Gerard Branthwaite, I think, is very similar to the Lescott story at the moment. So he's the one I've picked for that left-hand side of that back two. So we've got Maffeo, we've got Van Dijk, and we've got Branthwaite with in goal Jordan Pickford. As for left back, we're looking for someone in Gael Clichy terms, someone who has won the league, maybe someone who's an experienced fullback, someone who's played for Arsenal. And I had a big option for that. Someone who I think can complement pretty well Branthwaite, because Branthwaite, you can see, he's a relatively quick centre-back, I think, which is needed. He's good in the air, he's nice and aggressive, just like Julian Lescott was when he started Manchester City. So left back, for the replica of Gael Clichy, I've gone with Alexander Zinchenko. City loved signing players from Arsenal for quite a long time. Gael Clichy was just another one to add to the list. I think Zinchenko, being that he is like a Premier League winner, experienced fullback, plays for Arsenal, he seemed like he was very much stylistically similar in those sort of ideas that he is to Gael Clichy. I think actual quality-wise, they're nowhere near the same player at all. I think Gael Clichy is a much better defender than Zinchenko, a much better defender. However, one of his weaknesses I found when he played for Manchester City was that cross to the far post. Being so small, he didn't win the headers at the far post, did he, very often? And I think Zinchenko's got a bit of that to his game as well. So there is similarities in these players. It was just the sort of type of player, how he came to Manchester City. I thought Zinchenko was the one. Into midfield then, and we have got, firstly, our Yaya Toure will be Franck Kessié. I just wanted the best Ivorian player I could find. Yaya Toure, I don't think we'll ever see a player quite as good as him again for a long while. He was absolutely insane. His quality was unbelievable. Franck Kessié is a real all-rounder, and he will try to replicate in this side what Yaya Toure did for Manchester City. I don't think he'll be anywhere near as good, even if I give him a big upgrade, which I obviously will do to Yaya Toure's level in the 11-12 season, around 85 rated. This man was insane, Yaya Toure. So Kessié, a brilliant Ivorian footballer, played for Barcelona, and after not doing so well, moved away to Manchester City in this one. So I quite like that plan. Again, it is very similar. These players I've always tried to do my best to try and find who's most similar to those situations, the best I can. It's certainly not easy to do that by any means. As for Gareth Barry, this is a difficult one, but I went with Declan Rice from Arsenal as well. I think Declan Rice and Gareth Barry have a lot of similarities in the game. I think Gareth Barry is very underrated, really, in the modern day. I don't think people ever appreciated how good he actually was. I think he was a lot better than we thought. Roberto Mancini thought the world of him, really, because he always wanted to play him. As he got older, they brought in Jack Rodwell as sort of the player to be the next Gareth Barry. Unfortunately, injuries, I mean, absolutely crushed his career, didn't they? And poor performances. But yeah, Gareth Barry, Declan Rice is the man I've picked to be Gareth Barry in this Manchester City midfield. For Samir Nasri, one of my favourite Manchester City players ever, I've gone with Enzo Lafay. I think he's quite a versatile player, a skillful player. I was looking for a Frenchman that's sort of unknown. I didn't want to like bring in another experienced Arsenal player again because we'd already got Zinchenko, and I mean I know City's team was like that anyway. So I've gone with Enzo Lafay. I think he's a very good option for for that right hand side. We'll obviously upgrade and change him a little bit to play like Samir Nasri was, who was just so good. Samir Nasri, he really was one of the best players. Technically, I think we've seen play for Manchester City in the modern day. It's a shame about his injury and his issues with that, because if it weren't for that, I think that Pep Guardiola may have given him a chance, but he had a bit of an attitude issue, and Pep said that Samir Nasri, if he wasn't for fitness, he'd be a Manchester City player, he'd be playing for him, because he was an absolutely fantastic player. And I think it's a big shame the way his career went, really. Went to Sevilla, went to West Ham, never really worked out, but he was top quality. We're going to do our best to try and get Enzo Lafay to sort of replicate exactly what Samir Nasri did for Manchester City. On for the left hand side, because we're going to play 4-4-2 like Mancini did. David Silva, hard one to replicate again. A lot of these players are nowhere near the level of the other ones, but Isco's not far off David Silva. I'm very surprised we never saw him play for Manchester City. Technically so gifted, I think maybe player of La Liga this season. Just unbelievable footballer. One that I'm really sorry City ever missed out on. Of course, I've got him behind Isco's shirt up there, celebrating his time at Malaga when I first saw him play football, and thought, this guy's incredible, and I really wish Manchester City had signed him. It's a shame he didn't follow Manuel Pellegrini to City, because I think he would have had a really successful career in Manchester with David Silva, with Samir Nasri. That would have been a really, really scary, creative line behind the front line. As for Sergio Aguero, I've gone with Julian Alvarez as our Sergio Aguero. Again, a very difficult player to find, because Aguero was quite physical, low centre of gravity. Alvarez is not quite the same, but he's got a bit of similarities to Sergio, and of course, Sergio Aguero was the hero of this season. Aguero was the one everyone looked at and said, he won Manchester City the league, didn't he, with that goal against QPR. Of course, he had other moments throughout the season. He was the one, and of course, he signed from Atletico Madrid this season for 38 million, and that is probably some of the best money Manchester City ever spent, ever, because he was so good, wasn't he? And he had a bit of a dip in the second season, and then got back to his best under Pep Guardiola, Manuel Pellegrini. A real top player. And like David Silva, like Yaya Toure, like a few others, one of the best ever to play for Manchester City. One of the most underrated players to play for Manchester City, however, was Carlos Tevez, who drove City from the mid-table, or to sort of fighting for just Europe lower places side, to break into that top four and breaking into being a Premier League title challenging side. I've gone with Lautaro Martinez as Carlos Tevez. He was, again, a real aggressive player, like a bulldog, wanted to chase the ball down. Came from Manchester United. I didn't really know exactly who to... United haven't had a decent player in many years, have they? But yeah, him and Lautaro Martinez, I thought, had similarities. Both Argentinian, both nice and aggressive, both real quality players, both technically gifted enough to play in behind the striker and around the striker as well, just like Carlos Tevez was. And that completes our starting 11. So there are the 11 players we've got. Now onto the bench. To start with Edin Dzeko, we've gone with Benjamin Sesko as a big man, a tall centre-forward, one that is scoring goals in the Bundesliga, just like Edin Dzeko was with Manchester City signing from Wolfsburg. The only difference was Wolfsburg had won the Bundesliga after we signed Dzeko. But yeah, a big tall man, quality, technically quite gifted for a big man. I thought Benjamin Sesko seems like the one to be that. Edin Dzeko, another underrated player. I mean, you always, when a player leaves, and I was speaking to someone the other day about this, when a player leaves, you always remember the good moments they had, don't you? You don't remember the times where you were frustrated with them and they weren't doing what they needed. But Dzeko was underrated. I think sometimes fans were a little bit harsh on him. Me, myself, sometimes I thought, oh, this guy's useless. But he wasn't, and he scored so many important goals for Manchester City over the years. Being that one against QPR that got City back level 2-2. He scored a hat-trick away at Spurs. Time and time again, Edin Dzeko turned up for Manchester City in the big moments. In the Manuel Pellegrini season, City went away to Everton and Edin Dzeko scored to make it 3-1, if I remember right, in the white kit with the navy and the sky blue stripe along it. And he was just a really high quality player that I think we did sort of underrate. And I think when he left, we missed him. We missed him because I think we brought in Wilfried Bony, who... he was nowhere near the level of Dzeko. Alvaro Negredo was for 6 months before a shoulder injury. Strange, isn't it, really? He is still playing to this day now in Turkey, I think, for Fenerbahce. So Šeško's the man we've picked. For Balotelli, I've gone with Gianluca Scamacca, a problematic Italian striker who's strong, who's physical, likes to score a goal. attitude issues. I thought, yeah, again, a very unique player, a lot of these Manchester City players. I don't think, I mean, maybe I could have gone with Moise Kean. Moise Kean could have been an option, thinking about it, for Mario Balotelli. But I went with Gianluca Scamacca as the one to be in that position. Conor Gallagher has popped on the screen because he is the man we've gone with to be the James Milner of this team. Off the bench, can play wide, can play centrally, a real all-rounder, a real hard worker, someone who puts his everything into every game, Conor Gallagher. And James Milner was very much that player as well, and that is why we've brought him in that position. So Balotelli and James Milner, both real quality players. And what Milner did for the club in terms of, yes, he left Liverpool and caused some problems afterwards, and the fans weren't so happy with him, but it was the energy and the fight that he brought to every single game. I think another similar player I'd say that describes James Milner, one that I'd say is out there still in the modern day, is maybe someone like a John McGinn. John McGinn was very much like Conor Gallagher and James Milner as well, that real wanting to work hard, gives everything on the pitch, versatile. Up next is the man who's going to be our Nigel de Jong, a nice, aggressive midfielder from the Bundesliga. Again, difficult to find one, but someone who's got lots of tattoos, someone who's aggressive, and someone who likes to put in a tackle. And I decided to go with Dorsch from the Bundesliga. Don't know too much about this man, but when I was looking for someone similar, I mean, he's been quite impressive in the Bundesliga this season, but I was looking for someone who could do the Nigel de Jong role, off the bench, be aggressive, put those tackles in. I thought Dorsch was the right one. And de Jong was a bit of a cult hero at Manchester City, wasn't he? Was really, really well liked by the fans. Another one who really put in some real top quality performances. I remember his goal that he scored against Liverpool, where he sort of slipped and hit it with his left foot and it bent right at the top corner. That was like just an incredible goal at the time. And he was a really good player, and I think that it was at times pretty underrated by the City fans again. On to goalkeeper, and we've gone with Torevanu, a Romanian goalkeeper, to be our Costel Pantilimon, a rather unknown, lower rated Romanian goalkeeper. Exactly what Costel Pantilimon was for Manchester City. In this 11-12 season, he played purely as a backup to Joe Hart. We didn't see much of him at all. Hart played most of the games. However, when it came into the Manuel Pellegrini era just some years later, and Joe Hart was struggling for form, and struggling really in his performances quite badly, Manuel Pellegrini put the trust in Costel Pantilimon for quite a few games. He did play quite a lot of games for Manchester City, and some people even suggested he should be the number one at that time. For right back, you can see Reece James, because I've gone with Reece James as our Micah Richards. An attacking, physical, pretty highly rated young potential right back who is going to be utterly decimated by injuries. Reece James must have made so much sense for that to be that Micah Richards, and I think he could be Micah Richards if he doesn't sort those injury issues out. Some players just can't seem to sort them out, can they? Jack Wilshere was one, considered to be one of the best young midfielders in the world, in England anyway. We love to hype people up with the media. Reece James just the same, but it didn't work out, did it? Left back, I've gone with a Serie A fullback who likes to put a cross into the box in Mitchell Bakker. He's the man I decided to go with as Alexander Kolarov, another underrated player. I thought his crossing ability was fantastic, and I actually really enjoyed, due to the fact that he could kick the ball, such a clean striker, such a clean pass for the ball on that left foot, that for quite a while under Pep Guardiola's tenure, Alexander Kolarov played as a left side centre-back. He ended up leaving the club, he decided it was time to go. He moved to Roma, where we then saw City struggle on that left-hand side before Pep Guardiola went and brought in Aymeric Laporte, another player with a wand of a left foot in the back line. But Kolarov played very much as an attacking fullback for many years under Manuel Pellegrini, where I thought his best seasons were at Manchester City. In this 11-12 season, I don't think he was at the level he was under Manuel Pellegrini in 2013. For our third choice goalkeeper, Stuart Taylor, a player that sat on the bench. I don't think ever played a game for City, did he? I remember used to see him all the time at games. He'd warm up. He's just Scott Carson. He's another Scott Carson. After him was Richard Wright. Before Scott Carson was Richard Wright. And those three, yeah, they become a bit of cult heroes themselves, although Scott Carson seems to be even more popular with City fans because they just have a laugh that he hardly ever plays. Plus, Pep Guardiola says he's a big, big part of City's dressing room atmosphere. Stefan Savic was up next. Stefan Savic was a player brought into Manchester City as a really, really high potential young player. I've gone with Sazonov as that sort of player to be like Stefan Savic. Never worked out for City at Stefan Savic, did it? I remember his really bad game in the League Cup against Liverpool, and for whatever reason didn't work out. City were in a swap deal for Matej Nastasic, another player that should have been so good for City, and injuries hampered him. He went to Fiorentina, impressed, and then eventually he found himself at Atletico Madrid, didn't he, where he returned to City and was a bit mean to the players. Kolo Touré, an experienced Premier League winning centre-back who is a bit more experienced at the end of his career. City had Kolo Touré. I've gone with Joel Matip. The Liverpool man is a Premier League winner. He's an African player as well, which I thought was similar to Kolo Touré. And he's a very experienced centre-back, and he has what Kolo Touré had in his game as well. And a lot of these, they're very difficult to find players that are similar. I mean, always let us know in the comments down below, guys, if you think there's someone else we should have used, someone else who have made it more like that player. But yeah, I decided on Joel Matip. I did a lot of research into all these to try and find the right people. And Joel Matip for Kolo Touré just seemed the right one. Touré missed a lot of this season though, however. He accidentally took some of his wife's weight training pills, apparently, which were a banned substance. And he missed about 9 months banned from Manchester City. Hardly played this season, hence why Savic actually played quite a few games. And then final player in the squad is Calvin Phillips, who is our Owen Hargreaves. Came in a former Manchester United player, Bayern Munich player, on a short-term deal because he was always injured. City brought him in because they knew he had quality in the past. He actually played a game where he scored 2 goals in a cup game, and then from then hardly played at all. Injury prone, his knees are gone by this point, and he wasn't the player that he once was. Well, that is how the squad's looking. The 4-4-2 Roberto Mancini's side for this season. Upgrades and downgrades in the team. We've replicated the Manchester City 11-12 season. Can we go on to replicate it with a Premier League win? So kicking off the first game of the season with a bit of a disappointing result, really, a 2-2 draw with Burnley. Late goal from Jay Rodriguez in the 81st minute makes it 2-2. Alvarez and Branthwaite on the score sheet, but not the best of starts this Manchester City side. I expect us to start better for the season. These blips and these mistakes do happen, but I did think we'd do a little bit better than that. 2-2, I mean, look at that, Spurs beating Brentford by 5-0. We did went on and got a big win then at home against Newcastle, a 3-0 over Newcastle with Onzo Lafitte, Isco and Julian Alvarez getting on the score sheet in the 81st minute. Of course, Lafitte and Isco, don't forget, are our David Silva and Samir Nasri. And Julian Alvarez is the closest thing we could find to Sergio Aguero, which is, I mean, he's nothing like Aguero, is he really? But that's the best we could do. 2-2 draw against Sheffield then, who expect to get relegated. Jean-Luc Scamacca and Mario Balotelli and Isco on the score sheet. Isco rescuing us a draw late on in that one. Again, another disappointing result, really. Barring that Newcastle one, we've had 2 little blips towards relegation sides at the start of the season. But a 2-1 win over Fulham got us back to winning ways. An early goal from Wilson, and it looked like it was going to be another tough day at the Etihad. But Benjamin Sesko, Edin Dzeko, and Lautaro Martinez, Carlos Tevez both score to make sure we get a 2-1 win. And then it is a Yaya Toure or Franck Kessié hat-trick against West Ham United away at their ground to win by 4-1. Lucas Paquetá, a sore spot perhaps for himself against Manchester City, considering he wanted to play for City. If it wasn't for that betting investigation, maybe he's signed for City by the time this video goes out, or maybe he's been banned from football for 10 years. Who knows? A 0-0 draw then, disappointingly, against Nottingham Forest, unable to find a way through. We're still undefeated, by the way, at this stage of the season, but we are, you know, making mistakes in the season. Another 1-1 draw. Again, another draw, this time with Wolves. Away from home, a Reece James or Micah Richards' 24th minute goal against Wolves, who did score again early against us. But I think maybe defensively is struggling in. And after 8 Premier League games, or 7 in our case, we sit in 6th position on 13 points. Spurs currently top. Man United, then Newcastle, Arsenal, and Liverpool. I think it'll be us and United and maybe Arsenal for the title. I don't know if Liverpool will still be in that race. I think Spurs will drop off. I think Newcastle will drop off. It seems to always be its way on FC24. Some teams start really well, but as the season progresses, they start to get progressively worse. And our first big test now is a game against Arsenal, just above us in the league table. The likes of Gabriel Jesus in there, Gabriel Saliba, White and Tomiyasu, a really strong back line. Ramsdale ahead of Raya in goal. Odegaard, Jorginho and Partey, the midfield 3. Martinelli and Saka in the wide areas. This will be a good test for us at the start of this series. So the Emirates Stadium welcomes us for our first bit of gameplay in terms of Premier League action in this series. Manchester City, Roberto Mancini's Manchester City, take on a side here in Arsenal, led by Mikel Arteta, who are a very good team, who are in good form, but are only just above us. I think, like us, they have had a slower start to the season than they expected, and I think this is a good test early on. Well, here we are, a chance with Maffeo down that right-hand side. Declan Rice against his former team. Lovely little back heel into Onzo Lafitte. Space in the middle, Lafitte pulls it back to Julian Alvarez. What a start by Manchester City at the Emirates. Within 7 minutes, Alvarez opens the scoring. Really good play on that right-hand side. Combination play. And Alvarez in the end is there to put it in the back of the net. Really good finish. Really, really good finish. Flick on. Onzo Lafitte cuts it back to Alvarez. And Manchester City take a A 1-0 lead. Really good play by City. Really good finish by Alvarez. He actually comes off Ben White's hands. Could have been handball there. Oh, here's Ødegaard. First chance for Arsenal again. Ødegaard. Little back heel through to Gabriel Jesus. And a good save by Pickford, who comes out of his line. He's still alive, this attack, though. Saka. Ødegaard. Jesus again. Lovely flick by Jesus. Wow. Doesn't come off. Isco. Zinchenko. Whipped into Kessié at the far post here. Kessié. What a terrible miss. Martinez flicks it. What a save by Ramsdale. Tested him completely here. Kessié. Well, City dominated that first half. They're looking to dominate this second one with Kessié pulling it back. Good defending. Kessié with a shot. And away by Saliba. Chance for Martinez. Oh, what a save by Ramsdale. Kessié, City win it back again through Branthwaite. Look at Seshko, go. Seshko's there. Kessié drives. Far post, Martinez. Into Martinez. Martinez the chest. Martinez for the volley. 2-0 Manchester City, and I think that will be game over for this Arsenal team. Manchester City going to come away with a win here in all 3 points. Really good play. Really good play. Balling by Kessié. I mean, Martinez takes it down ahead of the Thomas Partey. It is. Holds him off. Back of the net. Manchester City. Double the lead. Saka. Good tackle by Branthwaite. He's flying in on Jorginho. Aggressive. Partey. Partey with a strike. What a challenge by Declan Rice there. And from that City counter. Dorsch. Gallagher through the middle. City 3-on-2. Oh, what a ball around the corner. Reece James. He's got Seshko in the middle. Reece James pulls it back to Benjamin. Seshko for 3-0 Manchester City. Edin Dzeko. You could sing it to the same tune. Whoa, Edin Dzeko. Whoa, Benjamin Seshko. 3-0 City. A big win and a statement win against Arsenal. You're not in a title race, Arsenal. Manchester City are. What a finish by Seshko. Calm and composed on the chest, into the back of the net. City 3, Arsenal 0 at the Emirates. Well, what a win to start our series here. A big 3-0 win over Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. This Manchester City side and Roberto Mancini's team, despite a few mistakes already, dropping points here, there and everywhere, I think we mean business this season. Well, following up the win over Arsenal, we went and beat Brighton by 2-1. Baleba got a late consolation goal, really. But Anzo Lafayette and Julian Alvarez on the score sheet again. From Kessié missing a penalty, which is a bit of a shame. We don't want to be missing situations like that. And now after 9 Premier League games, things look a lot different, don't they? A lot different. City sitting in 3rd place there. 5 wins, 4 draws, no losses. 19 goals for 8 goals against 11, plus 11 goal difference. 19 points we've got. Newcastle behind us by 1 point. Liverpool 2 points, same as Arsenal, both behind us. Chelsea down in 8th position, which is a bit of a shock. But we are chasing the 2 teams that are top at the moment. Those 2 teams are Manchester United on 24 points and Spurs on 20. United so far with a very good record in the league despite a loss. 8 wins. They may be the team to beat this season in the Premier League if we're going to lift that title once again. And what better time to try and test ourselves than against Manchester United. And look who United have signed. Of course, we released every single City player to build this team. So Manchester United, they saw an opportunity in the market to bring in the best centre-forward in world football on a free transfer. And shockingly, he's decided to make the move. Erling Haaland is a Manchester United player, and we will face him up top today. A 90 on attack he gives this United side in 1st place, top of the Premier League table, clear of everyone, with 5 wins from their last 5. This is the real test for Manchester City today, and I am worried we're going to see Erling Haaland score against his team for his rival's team. I do not want that. We can't have that. So Derby Day at Old Trafford, here we go. Manchester City take on Manchester United. It looks like it's going to be us 2 for the Premier League title this year. And we happen to face off against a man wearing number 13 in red on the wrong side of Manchester. And this is he's certainly on the wrong side of history. Erling Haaland is playing for Manchester United. Can you believe it? What a sight for sore eyes that one is, that we don't want to see. Never again. Here is Haaland. Oh, nice play from Haaland. Van Dijk gets a foot in. He skipped past Reece James. He bulldozes his way through Haaland. Haaland still looking very, very agile. Unrealistic, that is. Anthony with a chance here. Good block by Branthwaite. Back to Pickford, and let's get this ball away. United coming forward again. Look at that run by Haaland. Luckily they didn't look for him. Oh, Rashford finds him. It's Erling Haaland with a chance here. Oh, and it's onto the bar. We are lucky. Here's Rice. Onto Lafay. Space here in the middle. Lafay pulls it across to Julian Alvarez just before half-time. Manchester City take the lead at Old Trafford. A little bit similar to, if you remember, Sergio Aguero's goal in the 6-1 win at Old Trafford in this year. What a finish. What a finish. Here is Isco. Flicks one over. Alvarez. Alvarez! Just past the post. Here's Onzo Lafay. What a ball through to Martinez. Great ball. Chance here. Near post strike by Scamacca. Saved by Onana. Onzo Lafay into the far post. Disco on the chest. Down to Kessié in the turn. It's just past the post. Close. Kessié. Isco. Oh, good overlap by Mitchell Bakker. Can he put a Colorado-style cross in? He can do! What a goal that is! Onzo Lafay, Sami Nasri scores. And he makes it 2-0 at Old Trafford. City surely come away with 3 points here against our rivals United now. Erling Haaland has been kept quiet. Manchester City certainly haven't. Andre Onana's been kept busy. Save after save, but he couldn't save that one. Bakker in. On the chest of Lafay. Not even on the chest, it's the first time volley. Ambisaka with a throw into Haaland here. Beaten to it. Oh, Kessié throws a leg out. That's a penalty. That's a penalty all day long for Manchester United. And I'm sure Erling Haaland's not going to be quiet anymore. He's going to step up and score, isn't he? Kessié leaves a leg in. I mean, Anthony is looking for it, but it's a silly one from Kessié. It's Erling Haaland against Pickford. 2-1. I don't want to see that again. I'm just seeing the celebration. No. Long ball forward to Martinez here. We've got a counter-attacking opportunity again as Scamacca's gone. Here's Gianluca Scamacca on the head. Scamacca. Scamacca still. Gianluca Scamacca still going here. Right into the box and smashed it right into the back of the net. 3-1 City at Old Trafford. The better side are clearly us. We've smashed them. Absolutely smashed them. Really good play. Really, really good play by Manchester City. What a finish. What a finish by Scamacca. And that is full time. City win big at Old Trafford. And that is a real statement for the rest of the league. They're top of the league, United. So good this season so far in the first 10 games. But Roberto Mancini's Manchester City, they said, you might be good, but you're not too good for us. A big 3-1 win away at Old Trafford. That's brilliant. After that big win at Old Trafford, it does move us a little bit up the table slightly with the game in hand, of course, on Arsenal, Spurs and United above us on 23 points. But we are on course to try and catch Manchester United in this league title race if we can manage to catch them. I'm sure we can do. I think Arsenal are a bit of a dark horse there. Spurs still ahead as well. I think Spurs are starting to drop off. I'd say it's between us and Arsenal. Well, Roberto Mancini always had good games against Chelsea, so let's play them. The last bit of gameplay is a game against Chelsea away at Stamford Bridge. Roberto Mancini's side always had an exciting game. I remember City in the black and red stripes this year. Sergio Aguero scoring some absolutely brilliant goals, if I remember right. I don't know if City came away with a win or they ended up drawing or losing in the end. I remember Fernando Torres scoring. But hopefully we get 3 points here today. Here's Raheem Sterling. Skips inside Maffeo. Good feet by Sterling. And he's gone past Matip as well. Sterling past Branthwaite. Sterling! What a goal from Raheem Sterling. That is absolutely world class from a former Manchester City man. Skips past the challenges and puts it in the back of the net. That is disappointing to see. What a goal from Raheem Sterling there. Skips past the challenges. 3 or 4 players and then puts it past Pickford. And defensively we've got real problems there, haven't we? What a shame. Should do better against Sterling, really. Here's Palmer, another former City player. Chelsea have started really well here. Sterling. Back onto that right foot. Again, he's beat Maffeo. Sterling. Sterling to the far post. Malagusto on the volley. Back to Sterling to the far post, but he's offside, surely. We are getting lucky here. Chelsea have started brilliantly. Out to Maffeo. Cross comes in from Maffeo. We've got Martinez on the volley. What a strike that is. Thunderous volley. Absolutely thunderous volley into the top corner by Lautaro Martinez. Great crossing and a thumping hit bicycle, tricycle, whatever you want to call it. He's put it in the back of the net. Brilliant, brilliant finish from Lautaro Martinez. And that gets us level. Isco. Oh, Scamacca, what a touch on Lucas Scamacca. Chance here. Scamacca! Oh, big save by Sanchez. Sterling. Sterling still. Sterling with a strike. What a hand by Pickford. Here's Isco. Scamacca's gone again here. Isco's gone searching. He's found him. Gianluca Scamacca on the head. Scamacca! Lays it off to Martinez. It's saved by Sanchez. Jackson. Oh, he missed the tackle here. And Kunku! Big save by Pickford. Both keepers being called into action time and time again today. What a tackle by Branthwaite. Counter City Alvarez to Kessié. Oh, same run by Alvarez here. He's got Seshko to the side of him. Alvarez still going here. Seshko for the tap in. Alvarez into Seshko! To Manchester City. And we take the lead at Stamford Bridge. And it's the big man up top again. Fired across the box to him. And a really good finish. Really, really good finish by Seshko. Here's Jackson. Chance for Chelsea right at the end here. Off the post and into the hands of Pickford. Lucky Manchester City. And that is full time. We end it with a 2-1 win at Stamford Bridge. That is absolutely massive from Manchester City. A big win against Chelsea away at Stamford Bridge. Yes, they're not high up the table, but that gets us higher up the table. And I'm very, very happy with that. Absolutely fantastic from the side. Seshko again up top, causing problems and destroying the opposition. So that result there still keeps us in 4th place, but we are getting closer. 1 point off Arsenal, 2 points off Spurs, a few more off Manchester United, but we have a game in hand in all those sides around us. It's going to be an exciting series, to say the least, guys. Please do like the video if you haven't already. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to get early access, extended episodes, and so much more, you can join the We Are City Silver or Bronze Club for all those added extras. This is going to be a good series. I'm really looking forward to it. And then after this one, things get back to more regular style. Thanks for watching. Please do like the video, like I said. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. And we'll see you all next time.